Do you think hospitals ought to ban sickbed selfies? Is this something that you have done yourself? Have you seen other people doing it? Maybe you've seen patients sitting in A&E or even in their beds on a hospital ward, taking pictures, videoing themselves, and then, of course, uploading it to share with all their friends or their following on social media. Give us a call. Jeremy looks like he just can't believe anyone would ever do it. How would anyone do anything so disgraceful? 0207 862 2222 is the number. Do give us a ring. Oh, gosh. All right. I'm guilty as hell. It's something I've done. I'm ashamed. And now but at the time, it seemed perfectly fine. I only thought about it this morning. Last year, I was rushed into hospital. I was really in the most terrific pain. And it was just, I was all right 1 minute, perfectly fine. The next minute, I was in agony, rushed in. And it was a kidney stone. It was blocking my whole bladder. And I had to have it removed. So this is the video that I posted the morning after.
Good morning from hospital. Bit of a surprise. Yesterday I was absolutely fine, completely fine, and I had the children, Saskia and the babies, over for lunch, and I was completely fine, and not anything wrong with me at all. And then suddenly I got this pain, and it was just absolutely extraordinary. I've never had anything like it, and I've given birth to 2 children naturally. Never had any pain like that in my life. I went from completely normal to doubled over in proper agony. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't lie down. I didn't know what to do. You know, that pain's like absolutely astounding. Anyway, I bet you've probably guessed what it was. If you've ever been through it, you'll know. A kidney stone. Never had one in my life before. Never. And it was extraordinary. Anyway, they finally managed to scan me and everything. It was 5 millimeters, and so they operated.
Were you high on drugs at the time? No, I'm just wondering because that makes you, it might have felt good.
I think I was just shocked because it was so quick. Because 1 minute I was fine, the next minute I'd already had an operation, and it was then the next morning.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just a total egomaniac. I just think the entire world needs to know absolutely everything I do, absolutely all the time. But watching it back, this is giving Claire Muldoon a good laugh. That's all I can say.
It really has. I remember the days you couldn't even use your mobile phones in hospitals because they would interfere with, the equipment and things like that.
Well, I tell you why we're asking about this morning, because the Society of Radiographers has raised concerns about so-called sickbed selfies, saying they make staff feel really uncomfortable. They could compromise their ability to treat patients properly. It's all been written up in the Daily Mail today by Julie Cook, who shared her experience of being on a hospital ward next to somebody like me taking selfies. She said, I was lying in a hospital bed with a drip in one arm, trying to sleep as midnight crept even closer, as a machine bleeped at my side. I wondered if I was imagining the flashing lights I kept seeing around me on the ward, still woozy from anaesthetic, but I soon realised I wasn't hallucinating. Instead, those flashes were coming from beneath the curtain of the female patient in the cubicle next to me. She was sitting there taking selfies in the darkness of a post-surgery ward, taking photos for social media. Wow. So we're wondering what you make of these. I know at least one nurse has posted saying that she was just putting a cannula in somebody's arm and the patient was just filming the whole thing to upload to social media. Let's start with Sarah-Jane. You really are the selfie and posting generation. What do you think of sickbed selfies?
I think actually I end up feeling like I don't ever share stuff that is like that and that I should share more. So I feel like I look at social media and I'm like, why am I not sharing more? So for an example, recently I had an iron infusion because I'd been battling with, a bit of anemia for years. And in the end I thought, right, let's just do it. And then I started filming thinking, I never film these things. I should film these things. And the nurse, it was literally the same, the cannula. And she kind of and I was like, oh, sorry, do you mind if I just... And so then I thought, I'm in my own head again. Everybody else would be posting this. But I think talking about the topic and what should be allowable, if you're in a private environment, I don't mean a private hospital, but if you're in an environment where nobody else is going to be in shot, you're not affecting anyone, because that should be a place where people feel it's a safe space. Yeah. It is like modern day journaling. And sometimes if you're lonely in a hospital, why not document what you're doing? Yeah. But at the same time, if there are other people, nurses, doctors, patients, I don't think it's appropriate, really.
I think the reason I did it was because I was so shocked, I think, because I'd been so fine and then I was so not fine and then I had an operation and then it was the next morning and it was only with...
And you can watch it back, what you've just...
I think that's my excuse, but looking at it now, I think I must have been completely insane, and I have no idea really why did it. I mean, I don't feel that the whole world needs to know where I am every single second of my life, Jeremy.
But I'm going to say this is an interesting one, because my initial reaction was, no, this is ridiculous behaviour. We shouldn't be doing this. But then I was watching your video and we were talking about it. But did you find it quite cathartic?
Yes, probably, yeah.
Because I've found when I've had a few issues...
I don't even remember doing it, Jeremy.
No, but I've found when I've had issues recently, I've gone online and posted about it, and it's actually helped me.
Yeah, it can
because
do.
I've got it out and I feel like I've shared it.
It's like journaling, isn't it? It's like modern day journaling.
Exactly. Yeah. And you do feel, if you've got a good group of followers or friends or whatever I call, then it can be quite nice to get a bit of response, a bit of sympathy, because also you're kind of, especially there, if you've woken up in a foreign place and you don't know where you're going, you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening, and you're like, guys, what's going on? And I kind of get it. It's interesting, but I don't agree with. I'm very careful about filming nurses doing their work.
I wouldn't want to do that.
It might put them off their work.
Yeah, that's
make them feel like that's wrong. But something like that, taking a bit of a time to yourself and just journaling, I'm not against, but I do think it's really a case of being considerate towards the others.
I have, Claire, a few times on Instagram, DMs, direct messages, heard from people saying, I've got the most terrible pain, in my right side, Vanessa. Do you think it's a kidney stone? And I read English literature at Cambridge. I've got absolutely no, and I don't know you. I've got no idea. And I just keep putting go to A&E or ring your GP or ring the NHS number. I don't know what to say. But
Rebecca Phelps, 111.
I've got no idea what they should do. I mean, do you think it's a kind of terrible sign of a weak and narcissistic generation?
Absolutely,
yes, you do.
I do. Absolutely, I do.
Yeah.
And moreover...
What about journaling, though?
No, I mean, Sarah-Jane, moreover, they're in the wrong ward if they think that's going to make them better. They should be in some psychiatric ward, Let's be real here, right? It's not normal behaviour to have to, expose every minutiae of your life onto social media. And often, if Jeremy says it's true, I don't know, I'm not on. I've only got my ex, not ex-husband. I've got two exes, ex-husband and on X, the social media platform. However, if that is the case, you said you would like positive affirmation back, that response back from people.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of us, I think everyone should actually start to look inwardly. What you're in hospital for a reason, right? Yeah. You're going to make yourself feel better mentally and physically if you can just give yourself time off.
There is that as well.
We're trying to get kids away from phones and screen times, etc.
I agree. This grown up, I don't get it. I get what he just said. You're like in hospital, like, hello, I'm in hospital, I feel terrible. And then people send a wish you better, hope you're all right, sending you lots of love. And you feel my parents are dead, I'm so old. I can't go to my mum and dad, can I? So all my lovely followers, 400 and something thousand of them, say, Vanessa, we wish you better.
Exactly.
And that isn't a terrible thing, is it? No, let's talk to Carol, who's actually in hospital at the moment. Carol, hello there, hi.
Hiya. I've been listening because I'll be honest, I don't normally watch the show because I'm usually doing other things.
But now you've watched it, you're never going to stop, right? Because you love it, right?
Well, yeah, it's actually a good show.
Thank you.
Get better soon, Carol.
So, Carol, are you okay? What's going on with you?
Yeah, no, I had really severe kidney problems and I was severely dehydrated and I picked up a bad bug on holiday.
Right.
But because of the really good care I've got, marvellous care, I'm on the mend.
Good.
And my view is that if you're well enough to be taking selfies, then you need to get out of the bed and get home and make room for someone who needs the bed.
Thank you. Very good point. Very good point. You've got no feeling that you quite want to just record this moment of yourself looking a bit miserable on a drip.
No. I mean, there's loads of people waiting for beds, and if you're well enough to make that call, go home. And why do people so self-indulgent? Why do they think anybody in the greater community needs to see a picture of me, you, anyone, no makeup on, big sad face? There's more important things going on in the world. There's people dying of starvation all over the place. Get real.
You're making such a peppy call with such enthusiasm, and you're so convincing and everything else. Shouldn't you go home? When are you going home?
You're on your phone.
Well, hopefully.
But keep watching the show.
I will. Hopefully I'll be going home on the weekend.
You're going over the weekend? OK, well, we wish you better. Speedy recovery, Carol. Let's go to Ian in Yorkshire. Ian, how do you feel about these sickbed selfies, Ian?
I've done it myself, but I haven't done it for the purposes of social media. I've done it for the purposes of my family.
Yeah.
To let them know where I am and what I'm doing. The other question: should hospitals ban sickbed selfies? Hospitals have got enough to do. God, there's not enough people in hospitals to deal with the sick in the first place. So, to involve them in this is just ridiculous.
I suppose they could say, though, when you go on the ward, there could be a little notice that says, please don't film our staff, or please don't film inside the ward, or please don't film until you go home, or film outside, or they could do that. That wouldn't be time-consuming or cost any money, would it?
Oh, well, yeah.
And so you felt that you'd take a picture of yourself from the hospital bed to send the family to say, look, I am alive, I am here, I'm all right, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's top and bottom of it. It's where it falls, as I say, where it falls down is when you post it to social media. It depends on how important you think you are.
Well, very, very important, obviously, extremely important and of great deal of interest to absolutely everyone at all times. I must be thinking that, otherwise I never would have done it. Ian, thank you very much indeed. All right, I promise not to do it again. How's that? Well, first of all, I'd like to stay out of hospital would be the first thing.
Yeah.
I'd quite like to do that. And if I do end up, and I hope I don't, I won't inflict it again.
Bet you do.
I bet I do as well.
I bet you do.
Naturally, I will. I'll say, oh gosh, I felt so well. I completely forgot that I promised that on live television. Here I am. Anyway, thank you so much to all the callers, especially Ian.